So here it is, guys. Here it finally is, the new world. I'm starting to finally feel it. We're no longer messing around with crappy warlords, as Kaido would put it. We're starting to finally get to the big dogs, and I am really pumped, man. We finally got to see Kaido this chapter. And interestingly enough, the whole thing about the revolutionaries, it does seem like a little bit more plausible that maybe Blackbeard did not actually beat the revolutionaries in any way, because we know that Cypher Paul Zero was involved. And I predicted in an earlier video that Cypher Paul would get involved in this war and that Blackbeard would be more of a third party. So I do think that maybe what happened was Dragon was originally planning something, Cypher Paul found out about it, they came. And I just have a gut feeling that this has something to do with Pluton, because as we know, Robin knows the location of Pluton, and where did she spend the last 2 years? With Dragon. So Cypher Paul has always been after the Pluton, obviously. CP9, their whole mission was to go after the Pluton. So CP0's mission should be somewhat similar to actually, find the Pluton. So if they're actively going against the revolutionaries, maybe they're trying to find the Pluton, maybe the revolutionaries already have it. And I believe that Blackbeard was somewhat of a third party getting involved in this. And my friend just brought this up, actually, that maybe it's possible that Aokiji on Blackbeard's crew may have told Dragon, maybe they have some kind of secret relationship, and Blackbeard was even kind of like suspicious of Aokiji, of him being like a double agent. So I wouldn't be too surprised if the reason why the revolutionaries left was because of Aokiji, or it's possible they just knew about it and left, or maybe they fought Cypher Paul and then Blackbeard came in and all this crazy stuff happened and they just had to retreat overall because they didn't have their whole army set up yet, because gotta remember they were calling in reinforcements. So they may have just retreated, and I wonder if Pluton, because I have a gut feeling that Pluton is gonna get involved in this, because both parties, CP0 and the revolutionaries, are both somewhat connected to the Pluton. One party's actually after it, and I just have, once again, a gut feeling that Blackbeard is going to take it, because that's just the kind of character he is. He took the Gura, took the Darkness Fruit. Next thing, he's probably gonna take the Pluton and make it his flagship. So just throwing that out there. And Kaido, man, oh my god. He's just got like the comedy aspect, but with, the super badass aspect as well. And they did kind of point out that he was like a drunk and stuff, and he's got mood swings and whatnot. He gets really sad and depressed, and then he gets really angry, which could have something to do with his suicidal tendencies. Although, I don't know, that would be kind of weird if he's really just suicidal all the time. Although he could go between modes, maybe, where he's just really sad and really angry, and that could be maybe somewhat of his like fighting style, maybe. Like he could maybe in a fight just get really sad and sympathetic towards the enemy, then he just starts drinking and then he goes insane, like a rage mode. But I do like the way he's set up, typical kind of One Piece setup, where the enemy does have like flaws, like character traits. It's not just straight up like he's a badass and that's it. And we do now find out that Kid was the one in the jail cell, and he did kind of change the design of Kid, which is why I was a little bit confused when I did my discussion about it, because the shoes and like the coloring of the pants was a little bit off from Kid, but I guess he just changed it for whatever reason, I don't know. And I'm not too surprised that Kid was beaten by Kaido, obviously, because, Kid, I don't know, I don't feel as if he's as strong as people make him out to be. He has been basically explained to have that bounty he has because he's cruel, he does cruel things, and ultimately, I don't think he's as strong as Luffy, alright? I mean, Luffy's gonna be Pirate King, and Kid is just sort of like Magneto. I don't know what he is. But I am surprised about the fact that Kaido actually beat Kid, because I was thinking at first that Kid was kind of gonna ally with Kaido because, their views ultimately kind of align. They both don't like Shanks. They're both known for their cruelty, and I thought that would be why he would work with Kaido in some way. But now Kid's future role is kind of just up in the air. I imagine he may eventually team up with Luffy, but even that, it's kind of iffy because Kid's, a complete jackass. He's probably killed a lot of innocent people. I'm pretty sure it's confirmed he has, and I don't know if Luffy would accept that. I don't know. So even though I'm not that much of a Usus Kid supporter, I do think that he maybe was betrayed by Apu, like a lot of people were saying, and I don't think he could fight Kaido without Kaido getting at least a little bit dented up, but who knows. Like, honestly, I don't think there would be that much of a gap between the Supernovas and the Yonko. It just seems kind of like way too overpowered for a Yonko to just one-shot the Supernova, because the Supernovas aren't that weak. Like, I think they are decently strong, and they could probably hold their ground at least, but I don't know. Obviously not win or anything like that, but it would be nice if Kaido at least had like a few scratches. I mean, that's just overpowered for him to look completely unharmed. I think too many characters that have been foreshadowed to be somewhat important, like Smoker, they've just been getting annihilated by people, you know, like Doflamingo, just defeating Smoker, crushing him, one-shotting him, and it's kind of sad. Like, I thought people like Smoker and Kid would do something in the New World. They may have a role later on. Maybe they're just getting stomped right now for some ultimate cause. But Jack surviving, it wasn't really too surprising. I mean, he survived lots of insane things at this point, so it's not too surprising. But how he survived, there's really two possibilities. I did see someone say that he was a fisherman, so that's possibly how he survived underwater for so long. Maybe he's just holding his breath, or maybe he has what Kaido has, and maybe if they actually are immortal or just invincible or whatever, that they could just be able to resist drowning. It could just be an advantage of having an awakened zone, but that would be kind of overpowered to be able to resist water, because if you can just awaken your zone and resist drowning and then water isn't as much of a weakness, then that would just be way too overpowered. And I hope there is a weakness overall for this, because Jack just seems to keep, you know, getting back up, and for a character to not be that strong like physically, but for him to just keep surviving, it's gotta just be some kind of trump card that'll eventually have a weakness behind it that, you know, the Straw Hats will exploit, and that might be also what helps them beat Kaido. So Luffy has basically drained their whole food supply by wasting it on his cooking, and funny enough, they are going to an island made up of food and candy, so he's probably gonna end up eating a huge chunk of the island once they get there. And then we finally get to see Sanji again, and we do get to see his eventual bride or whatever, and he's just like resisting. He's like, I don't want to, you know, marry this girl, whatever. And then we do find out that the three-eyed girl, it looks like the three-eyed girl that was on Big Mom's crew, the one that was sitting in the throne, and it looks like she's covering up her third eye with her hair. I kind of doubt that'll stop Sanji though, even if he does find out, but whatever. But I do really want to see how this all plays out. I wonder how Sanji's gonna react when she gets there, and how this whole relationship's gonna form. I wonder if she's like kind of passive aggressive, because when we saw her in Big Mom's room, she looked kind of like sassy or whatever, but in this picture she looks kind of innocent, so she might have somewhat of like a passive aggressive personality, sort of like Bonnie. And to be honest, I wonder how she's related to Big Mom, because first of all, she has like 3 eyes, and how is that a trait from Big Mom, first of all? And a lot of the suspected daughters of Big Mom don't really look that similar. Like, we know Bonnie has a lot of similarities to Big Mom, and we saw that she has a ship just like Big Mom, but they don't really look that much alike. Like, Bonnie's got pink hair, and this girl's got, like, I think brown hair. So I do think maybe Big Mom has adopted a lot of these children, like I originally said. Or she's just like sleeping around with a bunch of dudes with different genetics and stuff, so that's always a possibility, I guess. So I am hyped for the 4 Yonko arc, and tell me what you think in the comments below. Are you starting to enjoy this? Do you enjoy the wacky personality Kaido has? How do you feel about Big Mom's daughter, etc., etc.? Like, favorite, subscribe, and I will see you all later.